My name is Mary Jane, everybody calls me MJ, and I look after all the professional cricket players in the Joburg area. I always have to work that one out. 13 years now, it's been a very long time. I think my entire career has been in the sports environment, and where I was before was in government spaces, in national federations, and I always felt I was completely removed from the athletes and the needs of the athletes. Every decision you made was clouded by something. But when you work with the players, there's nothing else to worry about. You just do what's best for the player. And working with SACA specifically, it's the thing I love about them, is that they're only interested in what's best for the players. So that's why I love it and why I do it and why I've done it for 13 years. So the needs that we have to consider are off-the-field needs. Obviously, what's going on in the field is a big thing for the players and it affects everything else. But the players tend to think very strongly about all their cricketing needs because that's their world, that's what they're doing, that's what they love. But they're very complex, layered individuals. So what are all the other things they need to think about? Have they thought about their dual career? Have they thought about their physical health? Have they thought about their relationships? Have they thought about their financial planning? There's so many different layers, and depending on where they are in their lives and their circumstances, that's going to dictate the kinds of conversations you're going to have with them and the kinds of needs you're going to address. I mean, there was one season where I had over 40 players, so now it's not quite as many, but it is. And I think the trap you can fall into is trying to cookie cut things. You can't. You have to be very individual in your approach to the players. I've got players that I gel with, that I get on with, and I speak to regularly, and it's really easy. And I've got other players that it's harder to connect with just because that's how human beings are. So you have to figure out what it is that works for this player. Some players are WhatsAppers. Some players, I really need to sit with them face to face. Some players want to do video calls and it works really well. Some of the players want to talk a lot about personal things. Some of them don't want to go there. Some of them just want to speak to me about their studies. It's okay. That's the whole point of the program, is whatever you need, as long as an individual you're developing and you're growing and you're becoming more as a person, and we can support you with that. So it's very different for each player. It's different. I've got players who I see every couple of months. I've got players who don't want to talk to me because when they see me, they know that I'm going to ask them some tough questions that they don't want to talk about. That's also fine. When they're ready, they come and talk to us. And then there's players that I'll be speaking to weekly if we're dealing with a specific issue, with a specific problem they're dealing with in their life. You might be speaking to them every couple of days. So it really is different player by player. Players who have a much stronger support base in their personal lives will need me less. Some players have very little support in their personal lives, and then they're going to reach out a lot more regularly. I think one of the things that's difficult for players sometimes, probably a majority of them, is to be realistic. They all have dreams and aspirations of playing cricket for a very long time. And a lot of them will have an idea in their head about how long that's going to last. But often the end of your cricket career is not when you're ready. Often it's because you have an injury, or it's because you're just not performing at the level you need to anymore. Sometimes it's you get married and your partner doesn't want to do this anymore. So you sometimes have to move on a lot quicker than you anticipated. So being realistic about what's coming, what you need to be thinking about, that you can't only be thinking about cricket now. You need to be thinking about what comes afterwards, because not only will you play better cricket, but you're going to be ready for that transition when it hits you. So I think that's probably the most obvious difficult conversation. Some difficult conversations is when you have a player who's addicted to something. You have a player who is battling with alcohol or drugs, for example, and it's quite hard to work through that denial so that they can seek help. And really that's our role. We're not therapists, we're not there to help them deal with their addiction, but certainly we want to get them to a point and support them so that they can access the help that they need to work through those kinds of difficulties. Those are probably the most difficult conversations I've had. So I have had an experience where I pushed too hard with the player. It just so happens that the next season he went to a different province, and it was probably good for him because I made the mistake of pushing too hard. It's very hard to know how hard to push and how to stay at the right level. It's not something you're always going to get right, and it's about knowing that player. And I think what's critical is building the relationship with the player so that in an ideal world they're actually telling you about it. The key is to be non-judgmental, and again, that's not always easy. But you really need to be a safe place for that player so that it's okay. I always feel like I'm the one person in the world who has no hidden agenda with this player. There's always something a family wants from you, or your coach, or your teammates, but your player development manager just wants what's best for you. So if you can create that belief and relationship, and that's not always easy, then that helps you to be able to push through those barriers and to push the boundaries a little bit. Oh no, there's no answer to that. That's different for every single player because I'm not looking for the best bowler or the best batsman. I'm just looking for you to be the best person you can be, who's always growing, who's always learning, who's always challenging yourself. So I think for me, that's what it looks like is, they say you can have everything, you just can't have it all at once. So it's about saying, okay, what's next for you? Do you need a driver's license? Okay, let's work on that. Or maybe the next thing you need is your master's degree. Or maybe the next thing for you is just to plan your budgeting better every month. That's what success looks like to me, is just, are you moving forward in your life? Are you taking on the next thing? Are you growing as a person, and are you working through those challenges and those things that are tough? So there's no recipe for success. They're individual people. I think the players that are more grounded are players that really take their lives and their cricket seriously. I don't mean don't have fun. I had a conversation with a player 2 weeks ago where I said you need to have more fun in your life. So I'm not saying don't have fun. But those players that think about things, that grab opportunities. You take our program. There's players that embrace it and mine it for absolutely everything they can. So by the time they leave cricket, they've achieved so much out of the program. So I think that is what is important for the players in terms of them obtaining success. One of the very interesting things for me personally is I've dealt with some players whose religion and spirituality is a very big part of their life. Now, I'm not a very good person when it comes to that. And it's challenged me personally because I've seen how from their spirituality, whatever their religion is, because they're all different, they have almost been so grounded and so solid in terms of what they're trying to do with their lives. That's just been a personal experience for me and something I'm trying to learn from and do better with. I think one of the trickiest things for players right now is this whole environment of so much cricket all over the world, where contracting, where to play, where not to play, what's good for my career, what's not good for my career, how does this impact my family? There's just so much cricket, and I think that's one of the things that's difficult for them. And making those cricket decisions in the context of real life, like if I take this contract somewhere, can I afford to live there? What happens to my studies? What happens to my partner? Those, I think, are very tricky decisions for the players at the moment in the current cricket landscape. Our role is really as enablers. I think it's easy to fall into the trap of solving problems for them. That's not our job. Our job is to help them with tools and processes that they can make better decisions in their lives. So we have some tools that we might use. We have a transition tool, for example, which is when a player's finished playing cricket, we ask them questions, which are tough questions, to think about what I need to do. And some of it is just thinking about things practically and logically and taking life experience and saying, okay, What are the things you need to consider? What are the financial implications of this decision? So it's not rocket science, but sometimes when you're so immersed in a decision yourself as a human being, you sometimes don't ask all the questions, you don't think of all the things, and you, I suppose sometimes you also run away from things you don't want to think about because you don't want to know what those answers are. So it's really just about helping the players to interrogate things, explore things, think about things, whatever their decision is at the end of the day, as long as they've thought about it and they know why they're making that decision. I think the first thing I'd say to them is enjoy your cricket, love it. It's your passion, it's why you're here, it's what you want to do. Just enjoy every minute of the cricket. But remember that you're a whole person. You've got all these other layers. Don't forget about those parts of you and work on them. As I say, you don't have to work on them all at once, but just work on those things so that you don't leave those parts of you behind and that you grow those parts of you as well. And take the program that SACA is offering, mine it for absolutely everything it can give you, because there's lots of opportunity there for you as a human being. Day one. So they don't, but they should. I think the players should actually start right at the beginning and I think that's where our program has evolved. In the early days, our program was a lot about helping players through tricky things. Maybe they're having problems with their partner. Maybe they need to make a decision about what they want to study. So it was really very specific things that they were dealing with in their life. But we've evolved and we're at a point now where we're saying, hang on a second, let's consider this player's life journey and what they need to be working on. So come on day one. We're also really there as a good safety net. So there's players that will avoid us and don't want to talk to us. It's cool, we don't mind. But there's that day when something happens in their lives when they need us, phone us. It's perfect. That's when we're there for them. We're an awesome safety net and we'll do whatever we can to support a player through that. There isn't one way, players are different. So we'll meet them at the beginning of the season and we'll go to the field, we'll stand next to them while they're in the nets and chat to players. We'll set up sessions with them, online consults with them and discuss things with them. WhatsApp is awesome, you know. People love WhatsApp these days. So a lot goes on WhatsApp. WhatsApp's not always that deep, but it's still a good way to keep in touch with the player. Sometimes you've got players that just like to go for coffee. You'll find a coffee shop. Sometimes you need to find a quiet corner where you can have quite a deep conversation. So, you know, at the stadium, at the field, it really differs. And again, it depends on the player. I love it when a player gets something right. And you can just see that absolute sense of self-accomplishment and sometimes relief and success in their eyes and in their voices. So it's not necessarily the big things. These guys and girls produce the most amazing results on the field, but they might be in debt and they've struggled to get out of their debt and they pay that last bill off and they phone me and they say, MJ, I paid it off. And they've been working for 3 years to pay it off. Or they're struggling with a relationship and they go to a therapist and they work through it and they phone me and they say, I had this amazing conversation with my wife and we're doing so well now because we've been working on it. Those are the moments when they get their degree. I had one player who got his honours after years and years of struggle. He didn't have the financial wherewithal before he started playing cricket, got a bursary through SACA, had to work really hard over years to get his honours, and he phoned me. The joy in that voice was phenomenal. So that for me is the best part of the job. One of the moments for me that was very important, and it was in my earlier days as a player development manager, was getting a player to accept that he had an addiction and actually seeking help and spending his time working through that. That for me was a huge success. That was really hard. And so that for me was a very big moment for me with a player. I've had the opposite. I've had a player who was addicted, who we lost him. I don't even know where he is right now, and we tried very hard. But at the end of the day, it's their decision. But I think that player going and looking for help after years of denial about an addiction was a very big moment for me.